Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for Wednesday, March 5th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We go over my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel. It's going to be a 7-game main slate on DraftKings, 8-game main slate on FanDuel. And there are going to be 4 teams in total on the back-to-back. In the morning, I'll be posting up my early morning injury report. They will have the injury reports for all the teams besides those 4 on the back-to-back. I will have their injury reports updated later on in the day, as well as injury updates throughout the day. So definitely I'll look out for all that, as well as my updated core about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock, or as those changes do become available. And then last but not least, I'll be sharing as many of these starting lineups as I can get to throughout the evening down in that comment section as well. But without further ado, we're going to go right to the DraftKings side. We're going to start off at that point guard position. Point guard and shooting guard on DraftKings is going to be interchangeable since both these guys can play both. We're going to go with Bub Carrington of the Washington Wizards here at $5,300. Been doing pretty well the last couple games. Jordan Poole is out once again for this game. Goes against the Utah Jazz. Should be a pretty favorable matchup, and a matchup that's going to have 2 of probably the worst teams in the NBA at this point in time going against each other. So definitely do like this one overall. $5,300, looking for 26, 27 at him. Currently I'm projected for 29, but could come with some upside for even more. Then at shooting guard, we're going to go with Spencer Dinwiddie of the Dallas Mavericks at $5,100. So looking for 25, 26 out of him. Averaging just under 21 so far on the season. Kyrie Irving is unfortunately going to be done for the season with a torn ACL. So Spencer Dinwiddie should take over that point guard spot, especially since Jaden Hardy is also injured at this point in time with an ankle injury. So Dallas Mavericks getting really thin. Spencer Dinwiddie, a guy that can soak up a lot of usage. Play pretty well at times. Currently having projected for 30 fantasy points going against that Milwaukee Bucks team overall. Then we move down to small forward with Duncan Robinson of the Miami Heat. This was kind of the last spot for me overall, but at $4,700, looking for 23, 24 out of him. Should be in that starting lineup once again with the injuries that they do have going on at this point in time. Not the greatest matchup in the world versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are typically a pretty good defensive team, but they are on the back-to-backs, so we'll have to see if that impacts their defense. But definitely do like Duncan Robinson in this matchup. Currently, I'm projected for about 26, 27. Could have a little bit of upside for more, if that shot's going down for him once again, especially that 3-ball. Could have a little bit of downside for less, if he doesn't go out there, if he doesn't get the minutes, or he doesn't shoot the ball quite as well as we would expect. Then we move down to power forward with Keyshawn George at $5,000. Need to make sure that he is in that starting lineup as he is listed as questionable. He's got a jaw contusion going on at this point in time, but should be a favorable matchup for Utah Jazz. $5,000, looking for 25 out of him. Averaging just over 20 so far on the season, but he's been in that starting lineup playing big minutes and playing really well, so definitely do like him once again. And I currently have him projected for 29 DraftKings points tonight, but definitely could have some strong upside for even more. I will say with this power forward spot, whoever starts in place of Jaren Jackson Jr. for the Memphis Grizzlies is also going to be very attractive, whether that's Santi Aldama, who's technically listed as questionable at this point in time, or whether that's Brandon Clark, G.G. Jackson, or someone else. And then last but not least, going down that center position with Zach Edey of the Memphis Grizzlies, $4,900, looking for 24, 25 out, averaging just under 24 so far in the season. Goes against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Probably going to have a 2-big-man lineup out there most of the time for that Thunder team, or at least in that starting lineup. So Zach Edey probably going to get a couple extra minutes here, especially with no Jaren Jackson Jr. available for the Memphis Grizzlies. So definitely do like his upside. And I currently have him projected for about 28, 29 fantasy points tonight overall. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you have $25,000 remaining. So exactly half your budget remaining, just over $8,300 remaining per player. So a lot of room and flexibility to pay up for a star player or 2 if that's something you want to do. Should make for a very interesting slate, as I do expect a lot of value to be available on this slate overall. And we're going to be paying very, very close attention to a lot of these injury updates just in general. But with that being said, we're going to move over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there as well. So on the FanDuel side, we're going to go with Bub Carrington once again, $5,500. I believe he's only point guard eligible on FanDuel though. So looking for 27, 28 out of him. Should be in that starting lineup, playing that point guard spot with no Jordan Poole for this game overall. Goes against the Utah Jazz. Should be a favorable matchup there between 2 of the worst teams in the NBA at this point in time. Definitely do like his upside in this matchup. Currently have him projected for 29 fantasy points, but definitely could have room for even more. Then at shooting guard, we're going with Spencer Dinwiddie once again, $5,600. So he's a little bit more expensive on the FanDuel side, but looking for 28 out of him. Currently have him projected for 29, 30 on the FanDuel side. Definitely could have some strong upside for more, especially if this game remains close at all, which probably going to be a little bit more difficult to do, but if Dallas is going to stay close, it's probably going to be on the backs of Spencer Dinwiddie, Max Christie, and Klay Thompson in this one. But if that's the case, his upside is pretty much unlimited at this point in time. But I definitely do like him as a solid play, maybe even a cash game play with no Kyrie Irving out there, who unfortunately tore his ACL. Then at small forward, we're going to Duncan Robinson, $4,800. We're looking for 24 out of him. There's no Andrew Wiggins. There's no Khalil Ware. There is no Jaime Jaquez. Very banged up at this point in time for this Miami team, so should be getting some strong minutes once again. If that three ball is going down for him, going to have a really solid performance overall. And I currently have him projected for 26 FanDuel points tonight, but definitely could have some strong upside for more if that three ball's going down once again. But has a little bit of downside, if that shot's not going down or if he starts losing out on minutes, which I really don't expect to be the case overall. Then at power forward, we're going with Keyshawn George once again, $5,600, assuming that he does ultimately end up playing in this game. Like I mentioned on DraftKings, I'm very interested in whoever ends up starting in place of Jaren Jackson Jr. for that Memphis Grizzlies team as well, but with Santi Aldama listed as questionable, can't really put him in the core picks because we're not sure if he's going to play or not. If he's out, then maybe it's G.G. Jackson getting the start, who would look pretty good at his respective price tag. But those guys are going to be interesting. Keyshawn George, also very interesting here. You could also play him at small forward. $5,600. We're looking for 28 out of him if he plays in this game. Obviously, he's dealing with that jaw contusion at this point in time, but do expect him to be okay for this one. And going against the Utah Jazz should be a pretty attractive matchup there. And I currently have him projected for 29 or 30 FanDuel points for this slate overall. And then last but not least, moving down to that center position with Zach Edey, $5,500. I think there's a lot of value centers today as well. So whether it's him, Jonas Valanciunas, Kai Jones is kind of interesting if he gets the minutes once again for Dallas. I think it's a little bit of a risk there, but definitely could have some strong upside there. But I do have Zach Edey here at this point in time, $5,500. Looking for 27, 28 out of him. Currently averaging 24 so far on the season, but the games that he's gotten minutes, he's had some big fantasy performances, and I think there's a chance that could happen versus Oklahoma City Thunder in this game as well, especially with no Jaren Jackson. Could get a couple extra minutes there. I currently have him projected for 29 FanDuel points, but definitely could have some strong upside for even more than that. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $33,000 remaining, just over $8,200 remaining per player, so a good amount left over, whether you want to pay up for a star player or go with a little bit more balanced approach with some of the AK plus players overall. Once again, injuries are going to play a big factor on this slate. I think there's going to be a ton of value opening up throughout the day in addition to what we already do have. So definitely keep an eye down in the comment section as I will be posting up my updated core about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock. But with that being said, that's what I do have in terms of my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel for Wednesday, March 5th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then once again, I will be posting my early morning injury report, so that will have the injury reports for 12 teams, and then the other 4 remaining teams will have their injury reports posted later on the day of injury updates down in that comment section throughout the day, as well as my updated core, which will be posted about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock. That will be left as a pinned comment. If there's any other additional changes after that point in time, I will leave them as a reply to that pinned comment. I might also mention some other guys that could be interesting pay down options at the same time as well, or value plays. And then last but not least, I will be posting as many of the starting lineups as I can get to throughout the evening as well. So definitely be sure that you are checking up on that comment section, especially as we do get closer to lock, so that you do have the most up-to-date information as possible. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we have NBA DFS in terms of the core picks, Tuesday through Friday. Been posting up some NFL draft content as of late, so if that's something you're interested in as well, definitely feel free to check it out. Definitely would appreciate that support over there as well. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Parlay Play, and Prize Picks. If you're a brand new user on any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport. Be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in NBA DFS for Wednesday, March 5th.